Neither here nor there. Right, we're talking about bread. We're talking specifically about cheap, awful bread. I had the idea yesterday of looking for the cheapest loaf in Aldi. This loaf of bread was 45p. And in contrast, I have a low carb roll, and I make those all the time. I make a batch of 12 each week. Not each week, they last me for 12 days because I don't eat them every day, but I generally only eat one. My son might eat 2 a day, which is very annoying, and I have to do loads more when he's here. But that little roll costs the same as this loaf of bread. And you might think, well, you know, goodness sake, Natasha, I'm going to get loads more meals out of that than I am out of that. You're also going to get serious health issues. Yeah, it's not going to happen instantly, but it's going to happen over a lifetime. And most people do not equate worsening health outcomes. And, you know, if you're young and you're watching this and you're thinking, well, I don't really have health issues, but you have anxiety and depression, that is because of the food. If you have spots, if you have painful periods, if you have, you know, any kind of health issue, it is the food. There's no question. Before we go any further, I'm Natasha Hodge. I'm here to help you get the best from your body by knowing exactly what food does to it, and specifically what it's doing to your brain, because it's your nerve centre. It's the thing that drives you. It's the thing that makes you get up in the morning, and if it's working right, then your life should be fairly easy because you won't have to worry about the health problems, and you'll also be super strong to handle everything else that life throws at you. So yeah, that is as expensive, you know, or as inexpensive. So around the I think this is probably about 43p. But making sure that the ingredients in something like that, the ingredients in this roll is everything that your body understands and it can use. And there's fibre, and there's almonds, and there's egg protein. And that is the thing that your body goes, yeah, this is delicious. And also, because you're going to have full fat butter on it, don't forget, it's going to be fantastic. And it's going to be food that just doesn't interfere with anything. But let's go on to this lovely thing. And I say that extremely sarcastically because this is literally not food. It looks like food. You recognise it as food. But your body is literally like, what the hell? What is this that you are putting in? Because to all intents and purposes, this is 100% fake. It isn't food. It's sold to you as food. It's sold to you as bread. It's not really bread. It is an utter concoction of stuff that your body will go, I don't know what to do with this. What am I supposed to do with it? This is going to cause problems. But hey, I'll do what I can. Okay, so let's look at some of the ingredients in there. I mean, some of these ingredients I hadn't even heard of. I hadn't even come across them in my 9 years of nutrition study. So obviously the main component is wheat from flour, and we'll have a look at wheat in a little while. But calcium propionate is the second ingredient on there. And I had to look it up, and it basically stops food from going mouldy. But what it's really doing is it interferes with the growth and reproduction of moulds and microorganisms. Now, if you think, our gut is full of microorganisms, and it needs bacteria and all sorts to feed it, to keep it healthy, and to keep us healthy. So if you're putting in a thing that you shouldn't be eating in the first place, is it going to interfere with that fantastic gut, bacteria? Yes, of course it is. On top of that, you've then got the next massive ingredient, which is an emulsifier. In fact, I think there's 3 emulsifiers in this loaf of bread. So although the calcium propionate stops it going off, I'll be lucky if that doesn't go mouldy by the end of tomorrow, because it's real ingredients, and it's obviously deteriorating because it's real food, and real food deteriorates. But this is pre-packaged, and goodness only knows when it was actually baked, and it lasts until the 23rd. Well, that's the best before. This will probably, I should imagine, the actual loaf won't go mouldy for quite some time after that because of the stuff in it. Back to the emulsifier. Again, you might think, well, emulsifier keeps it together and gives it its structure. No. Think of it like this. It's a glue. Would you have a bowl of PVA glue in front of you? No. This is it. Glue. Giving it structure so that it stays nice and square in my packet. Glue. Eating glue is probably not a great idea. Emulsifiers have been recently shown to be carcinogens, so, cancer causing. Don't eat it! Emulsifiers, glue in food, and they get away with it. Totally get away with it. Then you've got rapeseed oil, which I talk about a lot. Seed and vegetable oils, hailed as heart healthy because they're polyunsaturated. They are unstable, they are bleached and deodorized, they are cheap for the food producers to use, and that's why this is 45p, this loaf. Literally every single thing about this loaf of bread, you can't call it bread. This food-like concoction is bad for you, and it's, even if you're buying a £2 loaf, it will have the similar things in it. It just might have, some other ingredients in there that are a little bit more expensive for the manufacturer to put in. But essentially, pre-packaged bread is not good for you. But on top of that, you've got wheat. And of course, bread has been around for tens of thousands of years. But with the introduction of the fact that we went, here's a wheat plant, here's the seeds of the wheat, if I grind them, I make a powder. And that powder is really useful, and that makes bread. From that day, when we invented it, we took a whole food and we lost all the structure to it. And we put gluten into our bodies, and in those days it wasn't as strong as it is now. But we essentially took one thing and we multiplied the amount of carbohydrate, because we made it so small that it went in so easily. And from that day on, we had chronic disease. It was the birth of chronic disease, because we weren't supposed to eat it like that. Nothing that we refine, nothing that we distill into a kind of souped up version of the original is good for human health. It's as simple as that. And so if you've got a sourdough, if you've got, a £5 sourdough, and you think, well, it's a sourdough, it's got a bacteria in it, it's, yeah, it's better than this, but it's still not brilliant for your body, because your body is still having to cope with large amounts of carbohydrate it wasn't designed to have. It just wasn't. And you might think, but I really like bread. Well, yeah, you might. But I'm telling you, this kind of thing is, thank goodness for people that have invented these things. And I've just refined the for want of a better word. The process of it, it's a 10-minute job to make these. 10 minutes in prep. Okay, you have to cook them for a bit longer. And then you chuck them in the freezer and they're there and they literally taste like bread. They taste like bread. And then you toast them or you use them as a sandwich. You know, they are such a great... They even smell like bread. But yeah, they're going to cost you more. But what is more important than your health? What is more worth investing in than your miracle body? It's the only one you're going to get. It's the only one that gets you through your whole life and gives you the opportunity to do what you want to do. You know, people concentrate on material things and getting a good job and, you know, getting married, finding somebody they want to be with, whatever. Your health is the only thing that matters and everything else is a bonus. So, seriously, I don't know, I'm literally going to just chuck that in the bin. And it is not worth anybody I know. I certainly wouldn't give it to anybody because I wouldn't want them to inflict themselves with absolute fake food at its worst. I'm Natasha Hodge. I'm here to help you get everything you want, because when you get your body in total balance by eating real food, you get weight loss, you get abundant energy, stamina, and your brain is lit up to the point of, my goodness, I didn't even know what this felt like. Take care of yourselves, and of course I will see you next time. Remember to leave me comments and share and make sure that people know it's not worth using cheap ingredients in your body. It's worth every penny to invest in it. Thanks very much for watching.